Hello, I'm Carol Ann Riddell, and this is Science and You. Kicking off our show today, a great reason to pay more attention to math and technology. It could affect your wallet. An algorithm written in Europe may change the way we invest. Lisa Beth Kovitz has the story of a Polish company making a big splash in the financial tech world.
We've come to Poznań, Poland to talk about the way globalization is changing the way small countries contribute to larger marketplaces. And they're doing it through technology. A Polish company, Exeria, recently won New York's Benzinga Award for innovative work in the field of automated investing. What did they do that was so innovative?
So Exeria allows people to build their own algorithmic robots to use them on the financial markets.
That sounds so cool, right? But what does it really mean?
An algorithmic robot is a computer program that executes your buy and sell trade order automatically, consistently, and continuously.
When I come up with an idea and my model says buy now, so I want to go buy now. But what happens is I'll sit there and say, well, maybe I'll wait a minute, maybe I'll wait 10 minutes, let me see what happens, and then I don't do it. By using an algorithm, it enforces my methodology so I can't second guess myself.
Many traders love to trade because of emotions, because they are excited when they trade, but it's not a strategy, it's a gambling.
Investing is a gamble in that there are no guaranteed outcomes, but information mitigates risk.
If you go back and look at statistical techniques called technical analysis, they go back to the 1600s in Japan. The use of quantitative models is a long-standing technique that a lot of traders and investors have used.
So why should any of us care about that? Well, because those tools have been available to high-end investors for quite some time now. Exeria is offering them to any trader who would like to invest.
In the past, using algorithms were reserved only for wealthy people or banks, financial institutions.
We're trying to democratize investing. We have robo-advisors that can help us now. Robots will change the way you invest.
Robo-investing. And I think that's the subject of a lot of concern by people and a lot of interest by people today, because it is probably the newest buzzword that we see in the market.
Is it possible that someday robots may take over our financial institutions?
I'm not sure they haven't. Even if I'm home and I send in an order to Schwab or E-Trade or Fidelity or TD Ameritrade, whoever I send it to, I'm automating it because I'm entering it in my computer. It goes to a computer at my broker. From my broker, it goes to a computer at the exchange or the marketplace. There are no people running around on floors waving their arms and trading anymore. It's all done by computer.
All these modern tools are great if you already understand the market. But what if you're just starting out? In our visit to Exeria's offices in Poland, we met a code writer who's using tech to teach you the ins and outs with a video game.
I'm making an application about Ted. He is a beginner trader, and you learn with him during the playthrough about how the stock market works.
Ted, in this game, gets a serious education in the math that underlies investments, with focuses on graphic tools and formations, trend lines, and Fibonacci levels. But is it the finances or the technology that interests this innovator?
I was more interested in the programming than the stock market.
This mashup of programming and robots and emerging technology is already bringing major changes to how we invest.
In recent weeks, per the New York Times, BlackRock, the world's largest investing firm, announced plans to merge a large number of its human-managed mutual funds with algorithmic funds. Exeria is up for its second Benzinga in the category of Best Robo-Advisory, and they've opened their first U.S. offices in California, with plans for America and beyond.
We will develop Exeria to every continent on the world, and we will bring this project to every people, every man and woman who is interested in investing.
This has been Lisa Beth Kovitz for Science and You.
financial industry is just one of so many areas where technology is redefining the future. Given that, we know it's crucial to get today's students more engaged in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. But teaching STEM in a kid-friendly way can be a real challenge. Our Tina Beth Pina introduces us to some educators who are tackling that with methods you might not expect.
FMA Live is an award-winning science education concert created by Honeywell and NASA that connects science and engineering to everyday life.
The most important thing about the show is that there's a lack of interest in science, technology, engineering, and math careers, and from the studies that Honeywell has done, we need to get them involved, we need to get them inspired, but we need to bring it to them on a level that they can understand, and this is the best way to do it.
The interactive traveling hip-hop concert teaches Newton's laws of motion and gravity to middle school students.
The coolest thing to see is the students leaving the shows every time we perform, and they're singing the songs and they're doing the dances and they're getting involved. So the reaction is energetic and excitement, and it's something that we didn't see from them as they walked in the door.
FMA Live isn't the only educator using hip-hop to teach science. Columbia University professor Christopher Emden has been dropping science beats with his students all over New York City for over 5 years.
I'm in motion, changing location, till it hits traction, the coefficient of friction. I'm off Newton, I'm on an Einstein. I like Einstein because Einstein's mind is like mine. All right? I use hip-hop because kids love hip-hop. I also use other things that kids love. I've used video games. I used to teach physics in the 9th grade in the Bronx. We would do video game physics. I mean, the idea is for the teachers to be creative enough to look at any phenomena that means something to young people and then highlight what is inherently scientific in that phenomena so young folks start realizing that science can actually be cool and connected to something that they love.
Dr. Emden teaches several types of science to every student he can, from grade school through graduate school.
Tomorrow you might call me, I might be in a school in the Bronx co-teaching a 9th grade or 10th grade class. Tonight I'll be teaching some graduate students here at Columbia at Teachers College. I might just, pop up somewhere and engage with a 3rd or 4th grader.
How would you explain your teaching style?
I teach as an MC. I teach because I've mastered my content. I'm the master of ceremony, and I have the intention to move the crowd. And so when I walk into the classroom, with an MC sensibility, then I have to make sure that the kids connect. Exactly what you just said. Write that down.
What did I say?
I'm not saying that rap is the key to science. I'm saying that in rap are skill sets necessary for having kids engage in science.
It really is helping. I'm starting to, get back on track with my science. I actually sit home looking up different science terms before we actually learn them. And then I actually read the definitions and all that. And then I put them into my raps and everything.
Last name synthesis, first name photo. I stay energized like motion and loco. Energy in the perfect thing that stimulates. I'm vegetarian, the thing that I emulate.
The reaction to Emden's teaching style has been so positive that he co-created Science Genius, a science rap battle that isn't about who's the best rapper, but the best scientist.
The more people I know, kinetic energy grows. So I'ma go to work, convert all of my potential, and as my speed increases, then I'ma go exponential.
Engaging in using music and art and culture, especially if it's the culture of young people, is in itself a way to be able to hone in on science skills. You're more reflective, you're more sort of theoretical in your approach to thinking about things. You have to be able to draw connections between things that are seemingly disconnected.
And it's that perceived disconnect that makes hip-hop and science education more effective for both teachers and students.
What kind of classrooms are successful teaching STEM?
Any class that does not dumb down the expectations of academic rigor while it increases the academic interest or the sort of natural interest and inclination wins. There has to be this delicate, beautiful balance. That's what my work is all about, and my work in science education, to help teachers to be able to get to that point that feels like magic where the kids are super engaged, the content is functioning on a high level, there's good dialogue going on, and everybody leaves the class sort of more excited and more learned and more informed. That's what a magical classroom looks like, and that's what all science classes should look like.
The brain cohabitates with the mind to perform perceptions of its own kind.
So listen, we gotta transform, making different landforms. How does the landform, get it?
That's dope. Props.
For Science and You, I'm Tina Beth Pina.
And joining us now to talk more about this story, our very own Tina Beth. How fun to have you here.
Thank you. It's fun to be here. I'm glad to be here.
I loved that story.
It was a fun story to do. It was unlike any story I've done up until this point, just because the man is so infectious, especially Emden. The idea of the story is infectious, but him in particular, you're drawn into him and his energy.
It absolutely comes through. So you introduced us to not one, but two programs that are essentially using hip hop to teach science. Is it possible that this could be something of a trend?
Absolutely. FMA Live's been doing it for about 4 years, and Emden's been doing it a little bit longer. And you can see the reaction of the kids while they're watching the shows. They're more engaged, they're more interested in science. And because less and less students are going into STEM, this is definitely a trend to get more kids in STEM. Even Emden has people coming out from post-doctorate, what is it called? They're getting PhDs in it, and they're students of his that he's had since grade school, and they're coming out with a PhD now. So he's creating little Emdens.
That's funny. I was very struck by what he said about how really, anything that kids love or that they connect to can possibly be a way to teach them. Does it seem sort of like there's a lot of possibilities out there?
Absolutely. One thing he was saying that really struck a chord with me, he said the schools that are the most successful are those that are culturally relevant. So they're looking at the culture of the students in the school to draw a parallel. So in this sense, using hip hop to teach science, because they're interested in hip hop, and if they can translate that interest in hip hop to science, then you've won, you've struck gold. So it can be an interest in video games to science, it can be an interest in, you want to be a hairdresser, learning about chemistry, and adding that element into it to learn. So that's what he's doing. He's finding the interest in his students. He takes the time to get to know them. And then teaches from that point forward.
It's such a different way of looking at things.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of us wouldn't necessarily make the connection between hip hop and science, but what I think he was saying was that some of that skill set is actually what you're trying to get at, is making those connections where they don't seem obvious.
Exactly. And the funny thing is, his focus isn't so much on the students, it's on the teachers. Teaching them how to teach properly. And if you teach properly, the students are going to be engaged and they're going to want to learn more and take that to the next level.
So I got to hear more about this science rap battle.
It's really cool. Basically, his science curriculum started as Science Genius. He created that with this guy from the Wu-Tang Clan, GZA. And then they thought, oh, would it be great if we take the Science Genius curriculum we have and create a rap battle out of it that happens once a year. And they have one coming up actually on May 25th. That's going to be the culmination of the Science Genius curriculum from the year for the students.
Wow.
So they battle and they're talking about...
Is it mostly high school kids or...?
Yeah, they're mostly high school kids for this. And the thing is, it's becoming international. They're going to have a rap battle in Jamaica using dance hall reggae music to make rap battles out of that. So it's spreading.
Were there other things that he talked to you about in terms of what a really effective education, science education classroom looks like? How classrooms, you said he focused on the teachers. What is it he really wants those teachers to take away as they go back to their classrooms? He
wants them to visit the neighborhoods that these kids that they're teaching live in, to see what interests them. He said he has taken some teachers to black churches just to see how the preachers are talking to their congregation and to see how those people get engaged and are interested in that. And if they can take a little piece of that and bring that into the classroom, then they've won. That's when he's talking about the magical classroom, the magic in science, and getting science embedded in these kids' minds. Even if they choose not to career in science, maybe in whatever they do, they're engaged. And that's the thing, it's that engagement quality of it.
And we sure know that we need more kids engaged in STEM.
Absolutely.
So now people may want to learn more about this, and he actually has some books out, is that right?
He does. He has 2 books. The first one he put out, he calls it his mixtape, because he has like the whole rapper aspect to it. He called it The Urban Science Education for the Hip Hop Generation, and his follow-up, which was his album, is for white folks to teach in the hood, and the rest of y'all too. And so this is just pretty much following everything that he was saying about people and teachers engaging culturally with their students and finding those parallels. And in the one book, he has a parallel between NWA and Galileo. I don't know what that parallel is exactly, but he finds the parallels there. And shares that with his readers and with his students.
And those are exactly the kind of connections that resonate.
Exactly.
Exactly. Right. Awesome stuff. Thank you so much, Tina Beth. Welcome. Great to have you. Come back.
I will. Have you back.
City Hall also wants science to be a priority for kids. The public schools are making computer science and coding part of every student's education. Here's Ari Goldberg.
With the robotics, they have something that they've produced that they get to show off that isn't just a math problem or like an essay. It's something where you can go and say, hey, check this out. We have some girls who are making apps or designing games, and we're participating in hackathons, and all those things feel like an end product, which is cool.
Computer Science for All is one of Mayor de Blasio's signature efforts. Spawned as a pilot program under the Bloomberg administration, it is now going to be a 10-year initiative encompassing all of the over 1,800 public schools in the city. In its first year, there are already 299 schools. One of these early adopters was the Young Women's Leadership School in Astoria.
I think we're all in agreement, that technology touches our lives in so many ways. But we all know that technology is woven into every industry today, whether it's finance, fashion, cooking, it's a part of our lives now and will only continue. CS for All is a $80 million public-private partnership to bring computer science education to all of New York City's 1.1 million public school students.
While something called a hackathon might sound like it's better suited for a movie plot, it's actually a series of programming and coding challenges for students across the city, from website design to software engineering to app making. And that's exactly the point the initiative is trying to instill in students. That coding isn't the domain of the stereotype white male computer geek on TV, but just a skill like any other that anyone can learn.
It's one of our favorite classes. I like that the computer can actually read it and it will do what you want it to do, and then you could create your own from your own imagination, and you just make your own discoveries. Right now we're putting like blocks that already have code in them that then the robot will understand what we want it to do, like the degrees, how many rotations for how many seconds, like all these things. But then we're soon going to be doing loops with the robots.
Do the students even look at this as homework? I mean, you guys are working with robots.
They are super excited. They come in every day, and it's never about the grade or like how'd I do. It's more like, what's next? What do I get to do next? And that, to me, is where learning happens.
A cornerstone of the initiative is training almost 5,000 teachers in computer science. And what I love about this initiative in particular is that it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. Some schools, some teachers, some principals want to weave it into their courses, their curriculum they already have, into art and social studies and math, of course. Other schools want to take a multi-year and intensive approach. The trainings were well ahead of schedule in terms of teacher trainings, having already trained about 525 teachers to date. So, we think the early enthusiasm really speaks for itself.
All right, ready? Let's print it up. I took 3 arguments.
The funding behind the program shows just how invested the entire city is in it, from an education standpoint, but also an economic standpoint in training the upcoming generation in technology. Half of the $80 million in funding isn't even coming from the Department of Education, but from the private sector.
Every employer is challenged today in terms of finding talent. We all know how hard it is to recruit. We all know how hard it is to find skilled talent and a skilled workforce. And so with this initiative, they're at the table saying, this is our future too, and really being invested in it.
By 2020, this program should be part of every single school in New York City. And the ultimate goal, proficiency in coding and computing for 1.1 million students. For Science and You, I'm Ari Goldberg.
If there is any certainty in life, it is that sooner or later it does come to an end, and every culture has its own rituals for funeral rites. But one of the most fascinating is mummification. Andrew Falzone tells us more about the science and mystery of mummies.
We've all heard of treasures entombed with the mummified dead, but thanks to modern technology like this MRI behind me, mummies are unveiling a treasure trove of scientific information for researchers.
there's a world that we didn't know about before.
The Mummies exhibit at the American Museum of Natural History features one of the largest collections of mummies housed in North America and provides an unparalleled glimpse into the lives and traditions of people from other cultures of the past. In total, 18 mummies from Egypt and pre-Columbian Peru are on display, on loan from the Field Museum in Chicago, where the exhibit was developed. Many of the mummies haven't been displayed since the Chicago World's Fair in 1893.
Even as you unwrap them, they're things that you can't see when you're staring at them that you can see in the technology.
One of those technologies is the CT scanner, which allows scientists to peek inside without damaging the mummy in any way. Each scan is totally non-invasive, but can yield a wealth of information about the medical history of an individual, including the cause of death.
One of the things that we're doing is it's not just the imaging technology, the CAT scanning, but we're also able to do things like isotope analysis.
Mummification interrupts the natural decomposition of human remains by drying out the corpse. Mummified tissues can provide detailed information about diet and migration of humans in the weeks and months before death. Hair, nails, and soft tissue provide short-term, month-to-month dietary information. However, bone will yield 5 to 20 years of dietary history prior to death, depending on the bone analyzed.
To have a head of human hair, a strand of hair is a remarkable thing in the hands of a scientist these days.
Science is also able to recreate the dead as they really looked. Forensic sculptors are able to reconstruct layers of muscle and skin to show how the person may have looked when they were alive. The Mummies exhibit will be on display until January 7th, 2018. I'm Andrew Falzone for Science and You.
We end today with our health and an in-depth look at Lewy body dementia. This devastating illness has affected many people, including actors Robin Williams and Estelle Getty. Magali Laguerre-Wilkinson breaks down the specifics of the disease and its impact.
After Alzheimer's disease, it's the second most common neurodegenerative disorder.
Dr. Thomas Wisniewski has dedicated his career to unlocking the mystery of one of the most challenging of Alzheimer's diseases, dementia with Lewy bodies.
Our recognition of this disorder is something that's relatively recent.
Dementia with Lewy bodies, or DLB, is a type of disorder associated with abnormal clumps of protein deposits, known as Lewy bodies, that build up in the brain. No singular test can definitely diagnose DLB, but telltale symptoms include fluctuations in mood, pronounced variations in attention, and alertness that can shift by the hour, and hallucinations in vision, taste, smell, or touch.
Having some Parkinsonian features is also a tip-off for dementia with Lewy bodies. So that's stiffness, so a rigidity in the patients, a slowness of movement, and also some gait instability.
An estimated 1.4 million Americans live with DLB, and as a multi-system disease, it requires a comprehensive treatment approach. Dr. Wisniewski is director of the Center for Cognitive Neurology at NYU Langone Medical Center. He points out that care of dementia patients, in general, is the single most expensive entity for healthcare at the present time. There's fresh hope that a new Center for Excellence for Alzheimer's Disease, launched with a state grant, comes at a perfect moment.
The state of New York is recognizing the importance of dealing with this huge problem.
No specific drug has been FDA approved to treat DLB, but as with Alzheimer's patients, a complete diagnostic workup should be performed.
This is an active area of research to try to discover those sorts of biomarkers, but at the present time, they don't exist.
Treatments should include MRIs and CT scans of the brain to rule out the possibility of strokes, which often mimic features of dementia. Behavioral management strategies, such as physical, speech, and occupational therapy, along with family and caregiver counseling, are useful tools to improve the quality of life for a loved one.
Many researchers around the world and pharmaceutical companies are hoping that in the relatively near future we'll have much more effective therapeutic approaches.
I'm Magali Laguerre-Wilkinson for Science and You.
That's our show for today. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Carol Ann Riddell. We'll see you next time on Science and You.